Now 250,000. Now, but to get 275 high, but to get 275 3. Now 300,000. Now 3 1/4, 325 high, but to get 3 1/4, but to get 325. Now half. Now but to get 300. And hello from Dallas, Texas. It's the Mike McGavel Jones Show. We're broadcasting from LBJ, 635 LBJ Freeway in Dallas, and the Dallas North Tollway in the Lincoln Center building. We do this every week. And we've got guests today from our office, Strategic Client Services, a division of United Real Estate Brands. And so good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody. All right. And so it's been a busy few weeks, and I wanted to introduce some of the team that we have working with us. And of course, I ramble a little bit at the beginning, so this will be time for y'all to rest. Okay. So we just had a great Easter weekend, and you all had time with family and friends, right?
We did.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit. We're also going to talk about some of the things we've been working on. We've got fundraising events going on. We've got real estate events going on. We have major projects going on from literally from Georgia to California and Costa Rica. And so we're going to be talking about some of these projects and kind of the events of the last few weeks, because it seems we're kind of getting that momentum going. So it looks like the second, third, and fourth quarter are going to be very, very big for United Strategic Client Services. And for those who have never been connected to our show before, we are a division of United Real Estate. United has United Country Real Estate, which is our rural recreational brand that goes back roughly 93, 94 years, located in Kansas City. And then we have United Real Estate, which is located here in the Lincoln Center, and that is our flagship office. And we do traditional real estate. We do auctions. SES is a special projects operation where we work with all of our offices that need help with either of the brands that we have. We also have a major marketing department called EMS that we work with. So if you have properties, a unique property, maybe it's a historic land or commercial property or a development property, lake lots, mountain property, dairy farms, we cross over all boundaries. And then we also do special assets. So it could be bank recovery assets. It could be an entire business. We could be selling a turnkey business operation. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Right now, what I'd like to do is kind of go around the table and visit with who's here today. And I'm going to just ask you to say your name and what your role is with our company, and then we'll talk about the projects we have going on. And I'll start at the end of the table. Actually, I'm going to start with the lady in the group and let Julia go.
Okay. Well, hello. I am Julia Stantic. I am just joining the team as an agent, so working on traditional real estate projects, as well as bringing project management to the team.
Very good. And you were born where?
I was born in Texas.
Born in Texas. And so you have family here.
I do.
Okay. We'll learn more about that. Todd?
Good morning. I'm the Special Asset Project Manager, and what that means is we'll be helping businesses liquidate assets inside the building where United Country can sell the actual brick and mortar. Now we're going to move to the inside and help them liquidate the assets within.
Very good. And we'll talk to you more in a little bit, too. Trent?
Good morning. My name is Trent Bates. I'm the Sales Operations Processor. My major role is research and development here. I work on specialized buyers and sellers. So that's pretty much what I do over here.
And you're, I know that you're very IT oriented too.
I am very IT oriented. I work majorly on the CRM system here, which is our customer relationship management system. It helps us keep track of all of our projects and everything.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, this last week, I just made a couple of notes, and we'll go back a week. Okay, so last weekend we did an auction. We did a fundraising auction. So a lot of people know that we do fundraisers as well, and that's a totally different thing from what we do to actually make a significant living. But we have been doing events for about 35, 40 years. And so last week we did an event at Three Forks Restaurant, which a lot of people know that's probably where I can be found from time to time. And, we were blessed to be involved with a really great group that was in the helping dogs, specifically dogs, that are coming from a unique background, and that is racing dogs. And so as these tracks transition away from being open and operating as bedding tracks, you have all these dogs that are trained to run and have nowhere to go. And so this organization specifically works to place the dogs that are already here, and then also take care of them, whether they have, people don't realize when you're dealing with a race hound, you're dealing with legs that get broken, and then there's only so many options you have, and they will spend significant money to help fix the leg and repair it. So I was very blessed to be a part of that group this year. It's the first time they'd used a professional auctioneer, and we were blessed to have some very well-known people in the Metroplex that are in the area of sports. So we had the original number 88, Drew Pearson from the Dallas Cowboys, who I've worked with for 35 years, I guess, as long as he was in the league. And so the original 88, and he always comes and he shares stories about being with the Dallas Cowboys and being with Tom Landry, and he always lets everyone try on his Super Bowl ring, and he's quite a neat guy, quite a trendsetter in clothing, an entrepreneur, is involved in a lot of different businesses, and but Drew loves to be around people. He was drafted. He was actually recruited to Tulsa, and then when he came out with the Cowboys, he was not even drafted. He was kind of a walk-on, and so Drew loves telling that story. And I think he'd said the other night that his signing bonus with the Dallas Cowboys was $150, and you can imagine.
Wow.
I mean, that won't buy you a steak at the stadium. And the other story I loved to hear, because Gil Brandt is the one that found him. And Gil Brandt said, we love what you do. Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys, and you need to go get some dress shoes. And he said, just put it on the ticket. And so he goes to a menswear store here in Dallas, and he looks at his paycheck, the first paycheck he got, and he's like, number's not right. And he checked in with the office, and they said, oh, that was the shoes were deducted. So they didn't buy him any clothes either. But anyway, that was a pretty cute story. And then we also had Craig Ludwig, and Craig Ludwig was with the Dallas Stars when they won the championship. And so Craig Ludwig was quite an interesting speaker. He's very he's fun. He's a fun guy. So if you want to hang out with somebody, if you want to drink a beer and have a good time, go hang out with Craig Ludwig, because he's a character. And, of course, the Stars right now are in the playoffs. If they win tonight here in Dallas, then they go to the next round for the Stanley Cup. So we're kind of excited about that.
Go Stars.
Yeah, go Stars. So if you're into hockey, this is the place to be. And, if by chance they don't get it done tonight, then they've got another chance to close out. So we have 2 games left. Huge deal. People don't realize, in fact, the gentleman that was involved in the Greyhound deal the other night that I did, the gentleman that assists them, kind of got them started, and is a major force behind that organization. He's one of the people that helped bring hockey to Dallas, and so hence Ludwig being there. But I mean, he literally was part owner in a hockey organization. So lots of great stories. If you want, that's one thing I like about these fundraisers, is you learn a lot about other people and how they got where they are and who they are, and he's a big time attorney, and so he's 75, I believe, but he doesn't look 75 and he doesn't act 75, and he continues to contribute. And then the last person that we had, because what we did was like 10-15 minute rounds of questions in 3 different sections of the restaurant. So they'd set somebody up in one room, and then they would answer questions to that group of people, and then they'd rotate them in and out. Well, the third one was Mark Followell, the voice of the Dallas Mavericks. And, of course, his stories revolved around being a part of the Mavericks, and he grew up here, too. So, and that's kind of unusual, because a lot of guys that are in sports broadcasting, they're not from the town that they're broadcasting from, but he's a homegrown boy, and he's quite interesting. And
He's good.
He's got lots of stories about the Dallas Mavericks, and of course, with Dirk retiring this last couple of weeks, you're going to see Dirk very involved with the Dallas Mavericks, to some major capacity. And so he's not leaving; he's staying. So the big German's here. So that was a week ago, and then we had the North Dallas Chamber of Commerce, which we are members of with SES. And so I went to the annual luncheon, and Gary Kelly, the CEO of Southwest Airlines, was our guest speaker. So they give out a few awards, and then have this wonderful speaker get up and talk to everybody. And quite frankly, he is so interesting because they started out talking about Mr. Kelleher, Herb Kelleher, who was the guy who he and another gentleman started the whole thing. And he was mentored by Herb and Colleen Barrett that succeeded Herb as the CEO, and then now it's Gary. One thing I'll say about Gary, whenever and I have friends on the board of Southwest Airlines, if I send them a note about service on a Southwest Airlines flight, I send it to Gary directly, and I get a direct response from Gary, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's kind of like United Real Estate Brands. With our company, if you are an agent or a broker with United Real Estate or United Country Real Estate, and you send a note to the home office, you get a note back from the person that's in that role. You don't get a canned response. You don't get an assistance response. You literally get an email from someone that is in that control position. You're not going to get that with any other major real estate company or franchise system, and I don't care where it is. If it's one of the major 10, you're not going to get a personal response directly that day from a president or a CEO. So anyway, really enjoyed Gary Kelly. Got a lot of great insights about the Boeing issue and what's going on with the planes. And, we do have a bit of an issue with canceled flights. They've been canceling a lot of flights lately, and that's a PR nightmare for a company that's the largest domestic air carrier in the United States. So, for a little company that was invented on a napkin, that's pretty impressive. The only person that's not here today that is a pivotal person in our office with me, and that's Brittany Lehman, and she's doing some research on a project right now, so she's not here, but I wanted to give her a shout out because I know she had a busy week and a busy weekend, and so we want to say Happy Easter to her post-Easter. And so let's talk about what we've got coming up this week. So the first thing we do on Mondays, besides the podcast, is we go down our list of major projects, and we have, what would you say, guys, maybe 15 to 20
Yeah, for sure.
hot, and then we have a secondary list and a third list, and so we literally will go down that. Now I'm leaving here tomorrow night for Idaho, and so just so you understand what we're going to be looking at is 2 major dairy farms that are in various conditions, but both need to be sold. Okay, and so I'm going to go with Gary Hubble, our project, really the project leader on that particular endeavor. Let's put it that way. He is also into business development for us. That's his major role is Mountain States business development guy. And so Gary, of course, went through our America's Auction Academy 2 or 3 years ago. That's one of the benefits to being a part of our company is that you have the ability to go to auctioneering school, and not necessarily to become the auctioneer, but to learn about the auction profession, how it works, make yourself comfortable with it, learn how to network, know how to sell it if that's what you want to do, and just it's another advancement in your education. Okay. And so his son, Jake, was in our recent class in January. And you were in his class, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. January.
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah. A grad.
Yeah, a grad. No, alumni now.
Alumni. Look at you. So we'll transition this just a little bit and say, Todd, where were you born and raised?
I'm a Milwaukee, Wisconsin kid.
Yeah,
Way up there.
way up there.
Way up there.
with the,
In the
che-
Great White North.
with the cheese curds.
Hey, they had a big weekend. 77 degrees there yesterday for Easter.
Wow.
Unheard of on Easter.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm a cheesehead.
yeah. And so, well, give me a little background. I mean, when you grew up in Wisconsin, what were the things you remember most about growing up in Wisconsin and Milwaukee?
Oh, great family. Great family upbringing. Mom and dad and a brother, and big sports town. I mean, it's a big sports state. You have Wisconsin Badgers. I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison and started out there. Green Bay Packers, and I know that might not be so popular here in Dallas, but you're a Green Bay Packer fan. That shows up right on your birth certificate. I always joke, come down here. Are you a Packer fan? It's on my birth certificate. Yeah. And then, of course, Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
So and now the Bucks are hot.
Yeah.
The Bucks are in the playoffs and just blowing through Detroit right now, 3-0 against Detroit. So,
Do you follow them close?
yeah. One thing growing up there, and Mom and Dad took us all the games, and that you do follow it really closely, and it sticks with you. You're a lifetime fan, as the Cowboy fans are down here. It doesn't make a difference where you are in the country.
Well, here's the thing you have to understand. We have to convert people because so many people want to live in Texas. We literally check you at the border.
I made it.
Yeah, well, we do. We have probationary periods.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm beyond the 5 years now. So,
But the funny thing about it is, and I'm a diehard Cowboys fan and have been ever since I was a little kid. And I mean, and my house is full of that stuff. And I go back to the old days. I mean, I was around when Meredith was playing. And so I have a great love for the game. Not necessarily some of the athletes today, because I'm not very impressed with a lot of that stuff. But I'm still a fan of the game. And I've always said that I have three teams. I have the Cowboys, I have Kansas City Chiefs, and then I have the Oilers. I never
the Houston Oilers.
Yeah,
Earl Campbell.
Absolutely. I was with a guy last night that knows Earl really well, and we were sharing stories last night. But when Big 34 was playing, they were hard to stop. But I was a big fan of the Houston Oilers because I lived in Houston, went to high school in Houston, used to go to the games when they were really, really bad, like 1-14 or something. I'd be like, man, you don't want to go to the games, but you want to go to the games. Love you blue. And so I think it just devastated me when they moved to Nashville. And, I actually went to Memphis first and then to Nashville. And my world ended in football, except for the Dallas Cowboys, of course. And then, you have to transition. Then they became the Nashville. What do they call them? I'm kind of being mean.
The Tennessee Titans,
yeah.
Based in Nashville.
The Nashville Steel Guitars. I don't know, but no offense to the people in Nashville, because everybody knows I love Nashville. And then of course, comes Bob McNair and the Houston Texans, and they. They're fun to watch, and exactly who one of their number one players is.
J.J. Watt, University of Wisconsin-Madison.
That's right.
Right there,
That's
number
right.
99.
And if you can't like him, you're probably not liking anybody.
When they talk about athletes that kids should be like or want, represent, admire, he's the guy.
He's the prototype for the right guy. Yeah. I'm a big Watt fan, and I got a lot of friends that watch our podcast and also watch our car auction on Saturdays, and a lot of them are from Houston, and they're huge. I mean, let me tell you, they're homers in a big way between the Astros and the Titans. So anyway, there seems to be a strong influence of Wisconsin in this company for some reason.
Yeah, I was going to jump in and say I'm a Texas girl, but my mom's from Wisconsin, so I was raised to be a go Pack go.
All right.
for sure. So right there with you.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the other piece of this. So those are the three teams that I'm connected to. But now, if the playoffs go the way of the Packers, if that's the alternative, I'll support the Packers, and mainly because of their love for their team and the hometown pride and the fact that it is a stockholder company. The locals actually own it. Correct. And my friend Jack Hines, who's an auctioneer, he's from the Hall of Fame. I took him to a Packer game. So about 3 years ago, I said, Jack, we got to go. He's in his 70s, I guess, or close to 80 years old, and we're just really good buddies. And I said, we're going to a Packer game. He said, we are? I said, yeah. He said, okay. So anyway, he and some of his family members were at the game as well. But he and I sat together the day that they unveiled the Favre circle.
Retirement. Yeah.
When they took, they dropped the curtain off it, we were right below it. So you could probably see us sitting there. I did not wear a cheese hat that day, but
No?
he did.
I can get you one.
I have one.
Okay,
Yeah,
just making sure.
I actually bought one at the National Auctioneers Convention about 2 or 3 years ago. I think I gave $600 or $700, but it was all going for
Great
education. Yeah, it was going for the NAA, probably for scholarships or something. But anyway, no, I love that stuff. And so your mother is from Wisconsin.
Correct.
Yeah, and so Trent, where are you from?
I was born in Oklahoma City. I actually grew up in the Navy. My dad was in the Navy, so moved all over. I lived in Virginia for about 4 years and then moved back to Oklahoma. Finally landed in Dallas in 2003 when my dad retired, so I've been here ever since.
Which is the majority of your life.
Yes. Yep.
You're a young man. You have a long way to go. So you're basically you're a local.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're up around Louisville, right?
Grew up around Louisville, moved over to Big Spring and went to Howard College right after high school, and then ended up at Sam Houston State down in Huntsville, then moved back to Dallas about 1.5 years ago.
Well, that's good. Sam Houston State's a great school. Just be careful you don't end up at the prison. That's what I would say.
Very true.
So, Todd, tell me about your family situation and what you've been doing for the last umpteen years.
Yeah, family situation, married, wonderful wife. Shout out to her. Awesome Easter dinner yesterday, and she's a third shift nurse, and she had to work last night, so she put that all together. So, 4 kids, 25 on down to 12. So 3 boys and a daughter. My daughter's still up north in Milwaukee. Oldest is a firefighter, and the 2 younger ones are in middle school. So
I saw your family picture on Facebook.
did you see it?
Yeah, it was great, and so
Thank
was and what you wrote was great as well. And so you are still involved with the fire department to some degree.
Yeah, I'm a volunteer firefighter. I've been for 5 years. My background prior to joining the United Country team is I was in the collision industry for 29 years, 15 years running body shops up north in Milwaukee, and then spent 14 years with Nationwide Insurance as a claims manager. We call it on the other side of the checkbook. So I worked both sides of the collision industry, and I was fortunate enough to I wanted to go to auction school years and years ago. Before I moved, I was going to go to a school, and our move came up to come down, and we moved to Rockwall just about 6 years ago now. And I finally told my wife, I said, hey, I want to go. And there's a really, really great school here in Dallas, America's Auction Academy. You might be familiar with that one, Mike.
Heard of it.
Fantastic experience. Shout out to that organization. Great 8 days, a lot of hard work. And that's where I was fortunate enough to meet you, and I got a lot out of it. And I wouldn't be where I am today without going to that school. So, fantastic deal there, and very excited about joining the United Country team and working together to combo and help our clients do everything. With doing the assets and the brick and mortar. I mean, we're the go-to team now.
Right.
We can take care of everything for you.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the beautiful thing about this is my prior life for 27 years was running an auction company, nuts to bolts, as Jerry Jones says, jocks to socks and all that. I mean, it was front door to back door for 27 straight years, and we did everything from real estate to personal property, retail stores. We were somewhere every week, and sometimes doing 5 and 6 auctions. I mean, we would literally sell a store. When we sold all the Montgomery Ward stores here in Texas and Oklahoma, and it was like we were doing an auction. We would do an auction on Monday, and then we would it was either Monday or Tuesday, but we'd do like a Monday deal, and then we would drive after it was over, and somebody would be in the back seat of whatever we were driving at the time, plug in to the battery charger, and prepare the catalog for the next auction. We'd pull in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and go straight to FedEx, or at the time it was Kinko's, and then they would print catalogs. We would go sleep for about 3 or 4 hours and then go do another auction. Of course, we'd pick up the catalog and go straight to the sale and do it. People don't realize the grind. If you're running a company and you really want to be successful, you have to dedicate yourselves to do it. I mean, it doesn't happen itself, and it's not like a lot of businesses that are 9 to 5, or 4:30 or whatever it is. Very rarely, if you're running an auction company, do you have a 9 to 5 experience. You kill to eat, and you have to be killing all the time if you're going to run a successful company. And that's what we did for a long, long time. Hundreds of millions of dollars in personal property. So what a person's going to get with us on the personal property side are special assets. And special assets can be anything. A lot of businesses are closing these days, and Payless and some of those companies. So, when you deal with companies like that, you're dealing with management, and so you've got to go in with a management mentality. That being a nice guy is great. Being a business person is greater, because if you don't have the skills to put the presentation together, and then the overall plan, and then stick to the plan, and then have the people to do the plan, you're not going to be successful. So, you've got your hands full, but I'm a big believer that things like auction school or real estate school, when you're in those circles of people, that's where the opportunities come from. I say that in school, and people go, "How do you?" People call me all the time and say, "Well, now, do you have placement programs?" Well, we don't have placement programs, but what I have is it's almost like going to college football games, and I'm looking for talent. And so, if you find that talent, wherever the talent is, it shows itself up either in personal skills or life skills or a disciplined background. So if you're a fireman, there's a discipline that comes with that. If somebody's in the Army, for example, Nick that runs our United Real Estate office here, he's got an extensive background in Afghanistan and everywhere else. Well, we know he's a process guy. He knows he came from that background. So we know he has the skills to stick to a plan and get it done. And that's our job, is to get a plan. So Julia, let's go to you. And so you're born here in Texas.
I went to school in Colorado.
Give me your background.
Mm-hmm. Raised here in Texas. I left for college. I went to a small school in Durango. It was great. Upon finishing school, I was able to start my career there in Durango. Worked as a city planner. So did a lot of land development, regulations of, divisions of lands or consolidations of tracts or the splitting of, lots on big tracts. I came back to Texas and went through real estate school. So I did that for a number of years. And for the last 3 years, I've actually been working as a project manager in commercial construction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to Colorado. So
let's go back to Colorado.
So when you go back to your experience in Durango, the reason I want to go there is because it's going to tell the world that we have someone extremely experienced when it comes to development. So whether it's planning and zoning, economic development, things that happen within a city, there's a lot of expertise that comes with that the average auctioneer or average realtor simply does not have, because they're not exposed to it. They're only exposed to it when they have to deal with it.
Correct.
And usually they feel like it's an adverse situation, because in many cases, we watched planning and zoning in Texas become a big thing. Now, for example, in Houston, you have almost no. It's very poor. You could have a church next to almost anything.
Right next to a liquor store.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah. And so, and it doesn't seem to get that much better.
Right.
It's just like the Wild West down there. You want to mine for gold? We'll do it right there next to the bank. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a weird setup in Houston, and then you come to Dallas, and then of course Dallas has grown north so much. The North Dallas corridor that we're sitting on. When I moved to Dallas, the tollway literally ended in front of this building, and then it became a street. and it was a street under construction for a long time before we got 4 lanes that were, passable. I've seen, if you go back and look at the pictures of the construction of the North Dallas Tollway at Beltline Road, it will blow your mind, because what you do is you don't realize what a major operation it was to get this stuff in. I was just with the mayor of Addison, Joe Chow, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I went to his, he does a monthly coffee, and I had never been to one before. And so just listening to how much money we're spending over there for infrastructure changes, it sounds simple, but with all of the underground utilities, and they're putting up new street lights, and they're resurfacing the roads, and they're widening the roads because they're having to do that, tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars invested in infrastructure. So that's why I think it's important that you're on the team, because now we have an in-house person who understands everything from planning and zoning, and I'm excited about that, because now I don't have to go look for the answer. I've got the answer about 15, 20 feet away. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It'll be fun. We've already got projects you're going to get introduced to this morning. I've got some land to look at in Oregon this week, and then I'll end up in Seattle. We're having a ribbon cutting for one of our United real estate offices, and so I'm trying my best to make it to the ribbon cutting and look at a piece of property or two. And then I have a friend that we have a corporate relationship with High Bid, which is also Auction Flex, which is a program to basically run auctions, either online, or also the process is involved in everything from printing statements to doing the taxes and all that stuff. So it's a really neat program that they come and speak at our auction school. However, Brandon Harker, who started that, he sold his portion of the company, and now I wouldn't say he's retired. He's really too young to retire, and he's an adventurous. He's an adventure lover. He's one of these guys that'll, you name something weird and unique, and he's probably out doing it. He's a very outdoors guy. And so anyway, he saw where I was coming to Seattle, and evidently he's up there now. And so I'm going to try to go to lunch or dinner with him while I'm in Seattle, and then come back Friday night, and then we do our car sale Saturday, and then we're going to jump on an airplane on the Great Southwest and go down to Houston and do the Cattle Barons Ball for American Cancer Society, which we did it for many, many years, and then there was a disconnect for like a year or two, and then we've been back again for the last 3 years or 4 years, and we have a great relationship with the folks at Cattle Barons Ball. They call it Victory. And we'll be selling some really neat things. Just off the top of my head, if you live in Houston and you have the funds to attend this event, it's a one of a kind. You're going to have a couple thousand people at the George Ranch down in Rosenberg, and we'll be selling everything from, I think we have 2 Texans packages. Speaking of the Texans,
there you go.
Yeah, and I got a really cool one where you travel with the team on the plane and go to a game and get to be a part of that, and then you also have a session where you get to go to training camp. So you'll be at the training camp with the Texans, which that means if you're the ultimate fan and you want autographs, this is kind of like your get them all now. And then we're selling 2 pickups. We usually sell 2. They're usually worth somewhere around $65,000-$70,000 a piece. They're customed out. They're the super fancy. I think the company's name is Sonic down there in Houston, and they've been great to us over the years. So I'm excited about going down this weekend and knocking that out. And then we have entertainment there. We'll have Diamond Rio. They are the picked group this year to be the entertainment. So we'll have a big crew there. And then my buddy Philip Braun, that I work with every Saturday, and who is a mainstay at Mannheim Auto Auction. And he's now over loss prevention, which is weird. He's done every role except literally ran the place, and sometimes I think he does that. But he's over loss prevention for Mannheim, Dallas, and then also DFW. So he's quite a valuable asset to them, but also quite an asset to me. And he will be conducting an auction for me here in Dallas for Operation Kindness. Operation Kindness, I have been doing. almost the very beginning, maybe close to the beginning. So for about 10 to 12 years, I've worked with Operation Kindness, and then they have a couple of events a year. And so I'm going to miss this one for the first time in 10 or 12 years, and that's hard. But they specifically asked for Philip, and he has got a great relationship with them, so he'll be covering for me. And then in October, we have another event. We'll all be there. But anyway, shout out to Operation Kindness, North Texas' largest no-kill shelter, and then also the Houston Cattle Barons and all of our friends down in Houston that tune in. And, of course, we have a car sale with Texans Can Cars for Kids. We had our leader here on the show, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, Mr. Marquez, Richard Marquez. So if you get a chance to go back to one of our previous shows, you can always go, if you have the app, the iPhone app, you can go there and pull up Mike McGavel Jones. And if you go there and you can check out all the shows, or you can make us a favorite, and you can watch all the previous. And we do have a series. This is the best of series. So if for some reason we are out of the office, we can also replay some of these shows. But it's kind of fun. And I have reached out to several of the mayoral candidates. We've had one on, Lynn McBee. Lynn McBee was on here about 2-3 months ago, and then I've reached out to another couple of them, and so waiting to see if we have them on the show. And we are going to have number 88, Drew Pearson, on the show, and the follow-ups, as well as Mark Followell, the voice of the Mavericks, and Craig Ludwig said he'd be happy to come on the show as well. I think that'd be fun to kind of look back at the things that these guys have all done. It's kind of a fun thing, you know. Let's see. Anything else I'm forgetting about?
I think you covered it.
Yeah. Okay, so Trent's going to be involved in working on research and development on these projects. We use the word project manager a lot because when we take on a project, it's all encompassing, and so I find that it works best to have one person that's the main person following up in all details. So, for example, all of us will have a project. And then there'll be, and we may have more than one going on at the same time, but we're very process oriented. And then we work with Amanda Klein up in Kansas City, where we have our all of our marketing and PR people. And the people up there, we want to do a shout out to EMS because they're our graphics team. We have a PR department, and one of the things that they do is they measure all of our marketing materials. So when something comes out, if the websites come out, SEO, whatever it is, they're measuring it. So if we spend $30,000, $50,000, or in one case $690,000 for marketing and advertising, we measure everything. And so a client needs to know that if you give us that money, we're going to show you where the money was spent, and here's what the results brought you. I know I just recently looked at a recap, and it was 250 pages. 250 pages of just confirmation of what we did, job performance, that type of thing. So when you hire United Strategic Client Services, just remember that we are a division of United Country and United Real Estate. And so all of our agents and brokers are available. And if for some chance a person is with another company, they can certainly call us and talk to us about a project. My goal would be to engage with anyone that has a major project on real estate or auction, and then we will connect to our local United Country or United Real Estate office and work in conjunction with them. So that's why you'll see us, SCS, you'll see a local office, and then you'll also see the other company. So we like to incorporate all of those. A lot of projects coming up. We have a wedding venue that is getting ready to close out, and we're working with Jeff Raines, our office over there in Georgia.
Beautiful facility.
It is awesome, and he's also a regional business development guy. So he's over in that southeastern section of the United States, and we're adding some more. I've got one I'm getting ready to announce here in the next week or two, out of Indianapolis, and then we'll have a West Coast one. As you know, I was just in California looking at a winery, and also some condominiums. And so we can handle anything. We just need the phone call, and folks can go to our website, which is united-scs.com. That's Strategic Client Services, www.united-scs.com. Of course, you can call me directly too at 214-906-5265 if you are interested in talking about a property or something. We just sold a dental clinic last week. It was an online auction. We also had the option to offer bulk bids to our seller, and in that particular event, the seller chose to go with the bulk bid. And so we just sold it, and we're funded about 3 or 4 days ago. So we were another successful auction, and we have about 2 or 3 closings going on right now. We have a ranch in New Mexico that's getting ready to close, and so we're just excited about doing business and providing services to people in need. And we've got a lot of new projects coming up that we'll announce as we sign the paperwork in the next week to 10 days. So, Trent, you want to say goodbye?
Appreciate it.
Okay, you're a man of 2 words. Appreciate it. That's 2 words. In Texas, that's almost 3 words. But
Yeah.
okay. And Todd?
No, I'm very, very happy to be here at United Country. Great time to be, as you said, a lot of excitement in the office, a lot of projects up and coming. And if you need to get in touch with me to take care of your special assets, I can be reached at 414-405-5028. I'd love to speak with you, help you recoup some of that money. What do you have? And let us help you market that stuff. And we'll make it happen for you.
A lot of, between the banks and the servicing companies and people who just need to move assets, I may be one of your first clients.
Well, there you go.
I've got 8 warehouses I think we need to clean out.
Well, sometimes I hear the stories that, the bank will put a note out on a business, and then for whatever reason, the business doesn't work out. And instead of the bank trying to recoup some of that, they'll just write it off.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do that anymore.
Yep.
Give us a call. We'll help you get some of that back.
That's what United SCS is all about, is solving problems for people that need assistance. And sometimes you just need a nudge. Yeah. Julia?
I think that the blend that SCS provides is really important as well.
Yep.
We can help you with traditional real estate, as well as maybe the other option is auction.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to provide that level of service and say, like, hey, let's work with you and work through it and figure out what is the best solution.
I think that that is the real key to the whole thing, is the ability to do both. When I got in the auction business, I only did auction. I wouldn't even touch a traditional listing, and I didn't have a lot of relationships with realtors, and so I really didn't know what direction to go. And now that has all changed and switched around, probably over 50% of our business is going to be traditional types of sales.
Right.
So we do both, and so we look forward to having you on the team, and I think the team's great. I think I look forward to all the rest of this year and years to come. I think we're building something super special.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for being on, and on behalf of everybody at United Strategic Client Services here at the corner of LBJ and the North Dallas Tollway, we thank you for joining us. Be with us next week. We've got another great show coming up, and thank you so much. God bless. Adios from Dallas.